right, so welcome back again to another session on the Ficino. This is the fourth portion or fourth section in this week's presentation of Marsilio Ficino, the great Florentine scholar. And Hannah's our guest with us today. Hannah, you want to say hello?
Hello again.
Okay, so this is an interesting passage as well, and we'll follow the same pattern as before. I'll just read aloud, and then Hannah will repeat after me, and please read with her to get a feel for the flow of the sentences. And then I'll ask her specific questions of the grammar, and then please try to imagine what the answers would be as we sort of piece together and deconstruct, we can say, sometimes the more complex grammar of these sentences. But they're not too hard, are they? You don't think they're too hard in this passage?
No, they're pretty. Yeah, this passage is a bit more straightforward.
Okay, great. That's a relief. Okay, so here we go. Marsilio Ficino besuchte circa, and you would say, because this stands for circa, so you would just say about. I mean, you would say circa for this with a CA period. Let's start again. Marsilio Ficino besuchte circa, everybody?
Marsilio Ficino besuchte circa
1449
1449
bis 1451
bis 1451
die Universität Pisa-Florenz, wo
die,
I'm sorry, die,
sorry,
that's okay, die Universität Pisa-Florenz, everybody,
die Universität Pisa-Florenz,
wo nach der obligatorischen Philosophie
wo nach der obligatorischen Philosophie
Medizin studierte.
Medizin studierte.
I don't know if you remember from the introduction that Hannah made earlier, but she's planning to go and study in Germany next year. You want to just say a word or two about that?
Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping to carry out some research for my PhD in Germany.
And what towns will you be staying in or visiting?
Yeah, I'll mostly be in between Munich and Berlin.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so here we go. In that first phrase up to here, where's your verb?
The verb is besuchte.
Good. Is that a strong verb or a weak verb?
It is a weak verb.
Notice that with weak verbs, there's no vowel change as the verb goes from the present to the past tense, and then a te is tacked on to show that that's one of the weak verbs. Okay, just translate that first section.
Sure. Marsilio Ficino attended the University of Pisa, Florence, about or approximately maybe from 1449 to 1451.
Good. And the circa there is obviously indicates that the author is not 100% sure, or it's not established anywhere that these were the exact dates, but very close to that, I'm sure. But notice it's only 2 years. Some people spend more time studying than just 2 years. Maybe must have been pretty bright. Okay. Wo nach der obligatorischen Philosophie Medizin studierte. I think we read this already. So, where's your verb?
Studierte.
Yeah, another weak verb from studieren, to study. And you know that one out of every 3 words in English comes directly from German. So there's a lot of vocabulary that we're learning, or the foundational meanings of these words, and then 2/3 out of the Latin-based languages. Okay, where he studied, and then how would you finish that?
So where he studied medicine after the mandatory philosophy, which was required.
Good, yeah. Sort of a double 2 weights here. Yeah, you could say where he studied medicine after philosophy, which was required, or after the obligatory study of philosophy, something like that. Good. So apparently philosophy was required as a study, and then in addition to that, he studied medicine. Going on, in Florenz, der Medici scheint ein offenes intellektuelles Klima geherrscht zu haben. Everybody?
In Florenz, der Medici scheint ein offenes intellektuelles Klima geherrscht zu haben.
Okay, where's the verb complex?
Scheint geherrscht zu haben.
Great. Okay. And what does that mean? Literally?
It means literally um, it appears to have prevailed.
Good. It appears, you could say,
Right.
and where's
Okay,
your
it appears. Okay.
we're and remember we're always supplying either pronoun it or
hmm
he or she or they to distinguish whether this is whether we're looking for singular or plural subject. And the subject is?
Klima.
Good. And what gender is klima? And how can you tell?
Um, you can tell by the ending of openness
Good.
intellectuelles.
Yeah. So
It's
this is
neuter.
yeah, and this is the nominative. So
hmm
ein offenes es here and es here. If this were a feminine noun, it would be eine and then e on these adjectives. And if this were a
hmm
masculine noun, it would be ein offener, whatever. So er. Okay, good. And then with an intellectual climate, this means to be ruled, but I said to have prevailed sort of fits the context there. So
hmm
in Florence of the Medicis, an open intellectual climate seems to have prevailed. Going on, wo scholastische Wissenschaft und humanistische Bildung, everybody,
Wo scholastische Wissenschaft und humanistische Bildung,
ähm, politische Intrige und literarische Kultur miteinander lebten.
politische Intrige und literarische Kultur miteinander lebten.
Yeah, these passages are really well written. I'm noticing. Um, okay, so where's your verb?
It's at the end, so lebten.
So how do you translate that by itself?
Um, uh,
With a pronoun?
yeah, they lived
They lived. Yeah, now you're looking for a plural subject, so where are they?
together. What are the things that comprise they?
Yeah, so Wissenschaft.
So Wissenschaft, Bildung, Intrige und Kultur.
Great. So four different subjects all comprise the
Mhm.
subject altogether. Okay. And they lived. This is an adverb
Okay.
with one another. Okay, you want to do the whole sentence? Let's see. Start
Sure.
where sort of from where wo.
Okay, great. Where scholastic science and humanistic education, political intrigue, and literary culture lived together.
Great. Okay, going on. Ficino beherrschte zeitlebens poetische und vor allem rhetorische Muster. Everybody?
Ficino beherrschte zeitlebens poetische und vor allem rhetorische Muster
Aus der Schule der Humanisten.
aus der Schule der Humanisten.
Okay. um, okay, so where's the verb?
Beherrschte.
Good. Okay, beherrschen. So that it really means to rule, but here in the case of sort of intellectual topics that he sort of commands, you could say mastered. So Ficino mastered, and then what is it? Zeitlebens? What part of speech is that?
An adverb.
Good. How can you tell?
Um, is it because
You have this s at the end.
the S at the end? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
the ending.
So this Leben means life and Zeit means time.
hmm
If you have the word, it's very similar to like Vormittag, which means in the morning, or Nachmittag in the
hmm
afternoon. And if you tack an s at the end of it, it makes it an adverb. So Vormittags means in the morning, and Nachmittags means in the afternoon. So it's the same principle. So for his
hmm
lifelong, so Ficino mastered for his lifelong, and then what are the direct objects?
Um, um, uh, poetische,
hmm
or is it model? Uh, poetic and rhetorical models.
Good. So here's
Yeah,
your
so the models.
simple direct object right here, Muster models.
hmm
And notice that some verbs, some words that end with er in the singular have the same form in the plural. So this is an example of that. This means
hmm
it means both model, ein Muster, and die Muster means also the models. So that's a peculiar characteristic of some of those words. Okay, so let's see. You want to translate then up to this point to humanism? So
Sure.
from starting with Ficino.
Ficino. Okay, so I guess you could say Ficino mastered life law, or could I move that to the front?
Sure.
Should I move the adverb to
Nicely done.
either throughout his life, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Ficino mastered poetic and above all rhetorical models from the school of the humanists.
Perfect. This is humanist of the humanists, which you did exactly correctly. Okay. Equally so, and then what else did he master? Scholastisches Disputieren. How would you translate that?
Okay, so equally so, or as well as scholastic disputing.
Yeah, and this is an infinitive made into a noun, which renders it a gerund, ing word, disputing. Good. Going on. War ein hervorragender Philologe. Everybody?
War ein hervorragender Philologe.
Notice every letter is pronounced Philologe. Great. Was seine zahlreichen Übersetzungen aus dem Griechischen ins Lateinische beweisen. Everybody?
Was seine zahlreichen Übersetzungen aus dem Griechischen ins Lateinische beweisen.
Okay, so so going on from Ervar, just translate.
Okay, so he was an outstanding philologist, as his numerous translations from Greek into Latin demonstrate.
Good. What is this ins a contraction for? That would be
indes.
Indas, exactly. Yeah, indas. It's
Indas.
a directional accusative. From the Greek into Latin, they prove or demonstrate. Then going on besonders, just translate that.
Okay, so without a special interest in literature or text criticism.
Good. So he wasn't bothered with issues of text criticism, and but more with actually the models and rhetorical models of the School of the Humanists. You want to do the whole thing together, just sort of slowly, so we can follow you? And how do you think everyone is following you today? How do you think they're doing?
I think they're doing pretty well.
Okay, so give us a little rundown slowly so we can follow you.
Okay, great. So starting from the top.
Yeah.
Marsilio Ficino attended the University of Pisa, Florence, approximately from 1449 to 1451, where he studied medicine after philosophy, which was required. In the Florence of the Medicis, an open intellectual climate appears to have prevailed, where scholastic science and humanistic education, political intrigue, and literary culture lived together.
Great.
Throughout his life, Ficino mastered poetic and, above all, rhetorical models from the school of the humanists, as well.
Go ahead. Or just as. Are you still there?
Into Latin demonstrate without a special interest in literature. Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Without a special interest in literature or text criticism.
You just broke up a little bit there. I'll edit this out. You want to start with Ficino again, right here, because you broke up. Somehow the connection was lost. Hannah.
Oh, sure.
So just start with Ficino.
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can. Yeah, it's clear now. Yeah. So Ficino mastered.
Okay, great. All right, so starting from Ficino. Okay, so throughout his life, Ficino mastered poetic and, above all, rhetorical models from the school of the humanists, as well as scholastic disputing. He was an outstanding philologist, as his numerous translations from Greek into Latin demonstrate, without a special interest in literature or text criticism.
Great, fantastic. Okay, well, thanks so much everybody for tuning in. And again, this is an example of really well-written prose and of just a fascinating topic too. So I hope you're enjoying this. And did you enjoy translating it too, Hannah?
I did. It's been a really enjoyable piece.
Great. Okay, so talk to you later, and hopefully you'll tune in for our final section in this week's portion 33. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.